In late September 2024, Sam Nordquist, a 24-year-old biracial trans man from Red Wing, Minnesota, a caring individual working in a group home, embarked on a trip to Canandaigua, New York, to meet Precious Artsuaga, a woman he'd connected with online. He initially planned to return within 2 weeks, but never did. His last contact with family was January 1, when he said, "I love you. I'll call tomorrow." Then silence followed. His family reported numerous concerns. They even requested welfare checks after noticing odd changes in his behavior, but were told no action could be taken. As days turned into weeks, anxiety grew. What seemed like a hopeful relationship had quietly spiraled into fear. His disappearance set off a chain of investigations that would reveal horrors none could imagine. The facade of love masked a chilling truth. Sam had entered a nightmare. By February 9th, 2025, with no word from Sam since January 1, his family filed an official missing person report. Police began a formal investigation, discovering that Sam had been staying at Patty's Lodge Motel in Hopewell, near the shores of the Finger Lakes. Investigators searched his room and surrounding locations, uncovering unsettling signs, personal belongings, and traces suggesting he had been held for weeks. Despite these warning signs, earlier pleas for help had been dismissed. The contrast between the motel's innocuous name and the terror inside was chilling. Authorities soon viewed the case not as a simple disappearance, but as the latest chapter of brutal violence. What followed was an inventory of findings more horrifying than anyone anticipated. Prosecutors later revealed Sam endured over a month of physical and psychological abuse from early December 2024 to February 2, 2025. Authorities described how Sam was beaten with broomsticks, table legs, ropes, belts, dog toys, and canes. He was forced into restrictive positions for hours, left without food, water, or communication. Prosecutor Kelly Swift characterized his treatment as akin to animal abuse. He was treated like a dog. He was denied proper nourishment, confined for long periods, and stripped of any autonomy. Each day extended the horror, and each act peeled away a bit more of his humanity. The brutality escalated beyond beatings. Court documents show Sam was sexually assaulted with objects, a table leg and broomstick, forced to consume feces, urine, and tobacco juice. At times, county searches revealed bleach had been poured on his body. Even more disturbing, 2 of Artsuaga's children, aged 7 and 12, were coerced into participating in the abuse under threat.
The prosecution called the use of children in violence heartbreaking, asserting the kids were victims themselves. These details painted a grim picture of orchestrated derision and depravity. The physical violations extended far past punishment. They represented ritualistic domination and cruelty.
On February 13th, 2025, Sam's body was found wrapped in plastic and dumped in a distant field in Yates County, roughly 50 miles southeast of Rochester. The autopsy indicated his date of death was likely February 2nd, the presumed end of the torture. The body showed signs of prolonged physical trauma and attempts to conceal the murder. Police confirmed he'd been moved from the motel to the field after death, indicating calculated disposal. The chilling nature of this discovery left investigators grappling with the reality that human cruelty can be deliberate, enduring, and anonymous in its aftermath. 5 individuals were arrested initially. Precious Arzuaga, 38. Jennifer Quijano, 30. Kyle Sage, 33. Patrick Goodwin, 30. And Emily Motika, 19. They were charged with second-degree murder with depraved indifference, along with kidnapping and endangering a child. Prosecutors indicated that charges were later expanded to include 5 more counts and 2 additional suspects, bringing the total to 7. Between them, they now face first-degree murder charges, aggravated sexual assault, conspiracy, and child abuse. Judges emphasized the case marked one of the worst they had ever encountered.
Sam's mother, Linda Nordquist, described her son as outgoing, kind, and deeply caring. She spoke of immense regret for not having his back sooner. The family organized a GoFundMe to cover funeral and travel costs, raising over $100,000. Local LGBTQ+ groups, including GLAAD and Rochester LGBTQ+ Together, spoke with outrage about the cruelty and the failure of early intervention. Sam's tragic story became a catalyst for communal pain and activism.
Major news outlets, CNN, The Guardian, The Washington Post, NBC News, covered the case extensively, calling it one of the most horrific crimes experienced in the region. Police Captain Kelly Swift openly said, "No human being should have to endure what Sam endured." Despite calls to classify it as a hate crime, authorities declined, citing that both victim and suspects were known to each other and identified as LGBTQ+. Debates emerged over how media reports might sensationalize identity. The case's alignment with Matthew Shepard's legacy in Wyoming drew comparisons, turning Sam's death into a reflection on ongoing anti-trans violence.
In March 2025, a grand jury upgraded charges to first-degree murder. Prosecutors declared the case exemplified premeditated torture. Defense arguments centered on relationships and coercive dynamics, but the court emphasized that voluntariness and violence overrode any personal histories. Witness statements, forensic data, and expert testimony illustrated the full horror. With multiple counts of abuse, the defendants now face maximum legal penalties, potentially life without parole. The judicial process became a wider platform for addressing systemic failures around gender-based violence and digital-era exploitation.
Sam Nordquist's death reverberates far beyond legal proceedings. Activists have campaigned for stronger hate crime protections, improved awareness of missing transgender individuals, and enhanced social services for vulnerable communities. Lawmakers in New York and Minnesota pushed for reform in police welfare checks. Meanwhile, Sam's story is honored in documentaries, remembrance events, and educational campaigns. His memory serves as a sobering testament. Invisibility is dangerous, silence is lethal, and justice must extend to protect those society overlooks.